What's up, everybody? Today I want to discuss what have I taken away from and what have I learned over the last, let's see, November, December, January, February, March, April. That's 6 months. What have I taken away over the last 6 months, and what have I learned from during the last 6 months where all that I was doing to get places was riding a bicycle? Over the last 6 months, what have I learned from the experience of, going through just having a bicycle to get you everywhere you go? And what comes with that? Well, being outside every day for the last 6 months, being in nature every day for the last 6 months, breathing in fresh air every day for the last 6 months. And other than that, there's things that you learn from an experience like that. I and my partner as well were on this journey of biking everywhere for the last 6 months, and we probably put a couple thousand miles on those bikes. Went through popped tires, flat tires, gears falling off bikes throwing you off them because of a gear mess up. Been through it all as far as traveling on bikes over the last 6 months. And it came to a point where everything just started working together and everything just started working out, and we knew that a higher power was at play in the circumstance that we were experiencing. And it all started out with a loss of a vehicle when it got pretty well damaged in November 1st. And since that point on, we have been biking everywhere we have to go. That's our means of transportation. And what have I taken away from that? Well, as of a couple days ago, we made a purchase of the vehicle that we were striving to set out for. And this morning on my way over to the park, on that bike right there that you can see, I'm brought back up of the fact of what I have gone through over the last 6 months of riding my bike every day, riding our bikes everywhere we went, whether that was to the store, whether that was to the gym, whether that was to go to a haircut, whether that was to go to a restaurant, go out to eat, have dinner, go countless times back and forth from the grocery store. And in this, nothing was ever for, and also to work. Nothing was ever too far out of our way and out of our means of where we needed to go. So everything was in this kind of area where we could travel on bikes pretty easily. And I did some pretty long bike rides, got pretty good at biking. That's one thing that I could say I took away from this. But let's just talk about some other things that might not be so surface level that one may take away from having to bike around, having to do alternate transportation rather than a car, something that's more difficult than what most people are used to over the span of 6 months. And what kind of skills does that build? What kind of traits does that build? I'll tell you right now, mentally, a sense of mental strength and mental fortitude is the immediate response to being in a situation like that, because from the first moment you have to go and set out on a bike ride, and we started, it was cool out, it was ending of and switching up of the seasons from winter to basically more fall and spring. And so at first, it wasn't hot out or anything like that. It was actually cold out, so you got to dress warmly because you're going to be cold on your way home. So you dress how you can, but setting out for that, let's not get straight away from what I was talking about. Setting out for that first bike ride where I know I have to go out to the gym a couple miles, go work out, push myself, and then after that get ready for work and go straight from the gym after I've gotten ready out to work, a couple more miles, and just thinking about the planning of everything and how you're going to sustain your body when you're doing that much exercise. But like I said, I keep straying off, but that's fine. I'm not going to be hard on it for what. Why can't I just let things flow today? And realizing that mentally, the mental strength that you need to get on that bike and to push yourself and to do that day after day, and to do that as you're aware of things around you, as you're aware of other ways, and and you see other ways of how other people are doing it, and then mentally you know that you're becoming more mentally strong. You know that you're becoming more mentally resilient to whatever it is that you have to go through. Even just with dealing with the bikes, like even when I got thrown off the pedals in the middle of an intersection. Now, I've told that story before. That's not what this is from, which it's pretty much healed, but it looked a lot worse. Haven't made a video in 13 days, but we're here for it regardless. Even when that happened, when I got thrown off the handlebars, I was pretty much clearing the intersection, and I had the right to pass, and I got up off the handlebars and started pedaling, and then it just locked up on me, throwing me over the handlebars, and I kind of took the bike with me as I flipped, and ended up, I've already told this story once before, but both my Bluetooth headphones landed right next to each other, luckily, so I grabbed them, put them in my pocket. I had my CamelBak on, so it kind of broke my fall on my back, so everything was good in terms of that. But even when that, I just kind of was mentally strong enough to say it is what it is. I'm not hurt. I got through that experience. I now know to be more cautious with this bike, and some of the gear technology was a little bit iffy on it, or however it got locked up. We don't know necessarily how that occurred or whatnot, but always being mentally aware that some risk or something could happen that you're not necessarily expecting, and so being able to be mentally resilient seems to be something that I've definitely gained from the process of riding a bike. It's essentially every day for the last 6 months. I mean, there was days where you had to get a ride somewhere, or you had the option to get a ride somewhere, and that's great. You can utilize whatever resources you have, and I ideally would recommend people using the resources that are available to you and taking advantage of those while you can, and being able to mentally these darn flies, being able to mentally have that perspective of I'm in control of my travel. I can still make this work. I can do this as long as I apply my mind to it. I can push myself mentally, and I can push myself physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and I can get through whatever challenges I'm experiencing. So facing those mental challenges is really part of what gains so much strength as far as mentally. Continuously pushing forward on the bikes, continuously pushing forward from one thing to the next with that momentum, and taking that momentum with you, and the things that you learn as far as mentally along the process of how to go about things as far as mentally, what mental perspectives to take into things, new mental perspectives that you've developed over the experiences, and over these experiences you've gained mental strength, and you become even more mentally aware of what it is that you are experiencing. Rather than being mentally dependent on, I can just hop in this car right now and I can get to where I need to be in a matter of moments. And I didn't get to that point yet. We did end up purchasing a vehicle, and it was what we had been intended on purchasing. So we were successful in that fashion, and financially it was actually a much you could say wiser, beneficial. The way it worked out was absolutely divine the way that it worked out. And so I learned a lot about mentally having strength, mentally having fortitude, mentally being resilient. And there is a process they have to go through in applying these things that you learn. You can be experiencing and learning these things, but if you're not constantly practicing what you preach, then what is the point? Sure, the point is to be aware of it, but if you're not working towards applying these skills and applying these traits that you've acquired over the time and over the experiences that you've been through, then what are we doing it for in the first place? What do you why even bring this into question if you're not going to apply that? So that is the next steps in anything, in the process of applying the things that you've learned and the things that you've gained through experience. They need to be applied. So when it comes to what have I learned as far as physically after riding my bike for the past 6 months and depending on nothing else other than your physical vessel, the strength that you have to pedal, the strength that you have to walk, the strength that you have to get up every morning, day after day, morning after the next, to face what it is that you have to face. And that's part of the process, is having to be physically strong enough to do what it takes to be in a state of being in a state in a place that is physically comfortable, that is physically the right space for you to exist in a state of well-being. As far as physically, that was nothing that was a struggle, because you were physically biking, and that in its own was keeping you physically healthy. And in retrospect, now that not so much riding of the bike is happening, because it doesn't have to with the purchase of a vehicle, I still have taken a couple bike rides because I want to stay active. So that's a place where I've been applying what I've learned as far as physically. You got to stay physically active. You got to take care of what it is that you have to take care of as far as physically, because if you're doing other things well, but you're not physically taking care of what you need to be taken care of, you're not even going to be around long enough to experience the other things that you've been working on. You're not even going to be able to be in a space of strength as far as physically, a space of well-being as far as physically, and experiencing other things, have you not and don't continue to take care of your health, take care of your physical vessel, take care of the way that you do things as far as physically. That's another thing that I learned, is you can push yourself super hard. Like, your body, your physical vessel is very adaptable, and it is designed to go through the courses of life and the challenges and oppositions or trials and tribulations that one may go through as far as physically. It is designed to go through. This right here happened about, I want to say, so today is a Thursday. That's 7 days plus 4. This happened 11 days ago, was this injury, and it's already almost healed. So that's basically something that I learned, is that the body heals itself as long as you are there to aid it in its process of healing, and do the right things and carry out the right actions as far as physically. You can heal from things and miraculous things. And you guys know that if you've seen anything from my channel. I was once extremely dependent on nicotine at one point, and it has almost been 2 years since I've properly taken any nicotine into my system, and that's something that I've seen that I've healed from, like something that I'm not even mentally, spiritually, emotionally I can see that my perspective now isn't even that strict about it anymore. Whereas before, I'm like, let me call out Lost Mary vapes. Let me expose them and whatnot. And I'm not saying, oh, I don't have that same perspective anymore. Sure, I still do, but that just had to be said. Sure, that knowledge is now out there. That information is now out there for anyone to see, and I don't see that anyone has been able to delve deep enough into stuff like that as I did in that video where I exposed the Lost Mary vapes. But that's not something where I have to take that with me and be so fixated on it and say, I uphold this at all times. If you don't agree with this video, or you don't think it's accepted, or you haven't seen it or whatnot, I can still, relate to someone. I'm not being so or dependent on things as far as that, as far as, they're super serious as far as physically. This is a super serious thing that it's as if the perspective as far as physically and the way that you you're involved with the world as far as physically, and the way that you interact with the physical world is, I hold a different perspective on it. I see things in a more expanded perspective after. I mean, that's changed always, but for sure in the last 6 months, when doing all this work and all this difficult activities, difficult workouts, difficult challenges that you go through, you come to realize that there's a balance to everything. So that's definitely helped, a return to balance as far as physically. I've realized that for sure, become more physically balanced since riding the bike, and that has to do with getting more active, having the energy to burn the food that you're ingesting, and not just packing on unhealthy weight and continuing to push yourself as far as physically and as far as you can, and to take care of your physical state of being, because the best that you do that, the best to your ability that you achieve, you taking care of and being in a good state, in a good space as far as physically, is the most that you're going to be able to experience in this reality. And for those that aren't taking care, it's going to be a sad truth. It's going to be something that, and that's their own path for them to work out, in their own reality for them to self-reflect and say, what have I learned through what I've gone through, and now let me apply this. And maybe this is to better my physical state of existence, better my physical state of being, better take care of my health as far as physically. And maybe that's where the spark happens, maybe that's where the inspiration happens, but each person has to find that point for themselves. And that point is, when you want to make those changes, you will make those changes. Tell you what, it is really, really nice day out here. It's not even too hot yet. For those of you that don't know, I live in Arizona, and it's perfect weather right now. It's May 1st, or it may even be, it's May 2nd right now. Yeah, today's the 2nd. And it's a nice day. It's for sure the right thing to do, and that's something as far as what I've taken from the experiences. I got to be productive, got to be even more productive, and that was a big thing that took up a lot of energy, was biking around all that time. And it's no wonder I kind of put a pause on making so many videos, just because of the energy aspect to it. And I was pushing myself so far, physically working out and stuff like that, so the energy was tough. There was probably a handful of times where I've gotten the exertion headaches, where you don't feel like you want to make a video. And I made videos during those those episodes of having an exertion headache, but it seems as if I just rest even more, that when I come back to it, I'll be that much more sharper, and I'll be that much more into the rhythm of being able to tolerate that. And so there was a handful of times where that would happen, and a handful of times where I just couldn't even move. I mean, a couple weeks ago, probably 3 weeks ago, I did a super hard workout, leg workout, and then I did a but before so before that workout, the day before, I did about a couple miles, probably 4 miles more than I'm used to biking at all. Like 4 more miles than I'm used to biking in one day, because I had to go to a store that was in a different area that I'm not used to biking to. And then I did a workout, so the pre-fatigue from that biking hit me the day after, and then the workout set in a couple days after that, because the workout was the day after. And I got really just messed up. I couldn't even walk. It didn't feel like I could walk, and I'm feeling that same way right now, but it's probably at about half, and that's just what, sacrifices have to be made. It hurts to build muscle. It's definitely a process that is one of breaking it down, damaging the muscle, and repairing it and healing it, and it then growing and adapting to that stimulus that you're giving it. Just like that, the mind can grow. Just like that, the emotional state can grow. Just like that, the spiritual state can grow in a way where if it's broken down, you can build it back up again. So that's always a nice facet to reality. That's always a nice mechanism to be aware of, a nice mechanism to be privy of. When it comes to certain things that I learned as far as emotionally is being emotionally strong and being your emotional rock in whatever circumstance you're in, and being able to push forward whatever you're going through, no matter how it is that you feel, and continue pushing on, even if you have some emotional preconceived emotions and emotional inability to be strong, emotional inability to be resilient. You need to work on those things, and being able to ride the bike for 6 months consecutively really helped to be more emotionally open to experience, be more emotionally open to whatever it is that I am actually going through, and realizing that I feel even more alive when I'm doing all that activity. I feel even more alive when I'm being that productive. So I have to push myself to be that productive, and I have to continue to push myself in order to be that productive. Like, as of today, I checked my videos and I'm like, how long ago was this video? Only 5 views after 13 days. Yeah, that's bullshit. But you know what? I look at it and I'm like, that's not the first thing I thought. The first thing I thought was really 13 days already since I last recorded a video. It's felt like maybe a week and a half, but 2 weeks already. That just can't be happening if I'm gonna continue to grow on this platform and continue to grow my channel and my and on my journey here. I got to be more productive than that. And that's something where emotionally, when I saw that, I'm like, I wanted to get super emotionally down on myself. I wanted to get super emotionally difficult, super emotionally tough, and almost abusive in a way on myself, when actually that's not the actually thing that I need to do. I need to realize that emotionally, that's okay. You're going to get to it when you get to it, and being able to be emotionally strong enough to not get on yourself, be emotionally strong enough to reason with yourself emotionally, to reach that equilibrium as far as emotionally, to not be hard on yourself for so-called not being productive as much as you should be, and being able to move on from things, and being able to be fluent in a way. And that's why I made that video. I mean, the last video I made was an interesting concept. I'm surprised not many people clicked on it. I think I need to find a better way represent my thumbnails, and maybe my titles could use some work as well. But I think the information in the video was really relatable. I think it was really informative as far as what should you be, what aspect should you be fixated, should you be mutable, should you be cardinal, as far as what modality should you be in certain experiences, in what should you be in nature, right? So we talked about it in that video. It only has five views or whatever, but I recommend anyone to watch that video. And being strong enough to emotionally vouch for yourself, being strong enough to emotionally be your own backbone. Therefore, if you can do that, then you can actually be the emotional backbone for others. If you can be emotionally strong enough to take care of your own needs, take care of your own wants, take care of what it is that you need to take care of in your own reality as far as emotionally, you can further help, further relate to other people who are in the same space as far as that emotionally, further be in the same, on the same page for the betterment of the community, for the betterment of the situation, for the betterment of whatever the goal may be at hand, whatever the mission may consist of, for the betterment of that being in check as far as emotions can benefit the all, right? So when it comes to things that you learn after that is the emotional resistance, the emotional resilience to be strong in anything that you go through. And another thing too is when you seem or when you see other things happening where it seems like, oh, that person came at me, or that person came at someone that I care about, and that's an attack, that's a direct attack. Being able to be emotionally aware enough to know that the emotions that you hold for being protective, the emotions that you hold for defending and all that stuff is necessary. It is a trait that is part of the experience that we all are in, and don't deny those feelings to defend yourself as far as emotionally. Don't deny those feelings to be emotionally protected, emotionally shielded up, and the ones that you care about in any circumstance that you are going through. I don't know why so many flies came to this bench. I don't know what's going on here, but when I first sat down, there was only a couple, and now I've got there's got to be 30, 40 flies around here. So let me go ahead and move a little bit around here. So yeah, it's a great day out here. We walk around, get away from these flies for a bit. I did see a groundhog soaking up some information over there, eating some food or whatnot outside its hole. It's nice to have an audience. Ooh, this is nice. Got pull-up bar, a dip station. I wonder how many people actually use this stuff. Let me know if you guys have done actual workouts at your guys' parks. I've done pull-ups over there. There's a video of me doing some over there, but I find that just going to the gym, you can, but this is nice. It's out in the open, and if the gym's closed, why not come here? Why not come here at night when the gym's closed and bust out some calisthenics, bust out some pull-ups, some dips. There's other stuff that you can do as well, and get some work in while you can. And that's another thing that I learned is, which I already shared with you guys, is the productivity that you have to adapt to is what's needed for success. So learning how to apply those traits, learning how to apply those things that you need to apply. Oh, look at that right there. Got a caterpillar right there making its way. I'm sure you guys can see that. I don't know why I'm so distracted in this video, but you know what? I'm back after 13 days of without recording, and today's the day. Today's the day that I come back onto the platform, and we're gonna start a new journey right here. We're gonna start a path of building, a path of strength, a path of creating, a path of making God's work come into reality and come through to fruition. So we're going to be on a continuous path of that this whole year and in years to come. So everyone be excited on this journey and the opportunity that we have to experience the things that we will all experience. And what else have I learned as far as, let's say, spiritually, what have I learned from this journey, biking for 6 months? Well, I've learned that you got to be strong, no matter what it is that you're going through, as far as you could say, mentally or physically or emotionally. No matter what it is that you are dealing with, at the end of the day, you have to be strong as far as spiritually. You have to have a knowledge, you have to have a perspective of things that are going to benefit you in your well-being in what it is that you are involved in. And that could be a new spiritual perspective. It could be a spiritual system that you've created yourself. It could be one that you have learned from nature. It could be one that you are aware of. And these spiritual systems that you have and these spiritual perspectives that you have can take you through the experiences that you're going through that may be challenging, through the experiences that you're going through that may be difficult. Your spiritual faith that you should have in yourself should outweigh most of anything, and the faith that you have in the ability that others have when they come together to make things happen and to make things accomplished and to accomplish goals. And so these spiritual systems that you can get from going through difficult experiences are the same ones that can help you along your way in other experiences and other situations and scenarios and whatnot that you're going to go through in times to come. So continue to be aware of whatever it is that you're going through. And I can say truly that this was a beneficial thing after 6 months of riding bikes everywhere. I would suggest that if anyone is in a position where you have no ability to have a car, or you maybe get in a car accident or whatever that may be, or you need to save money or whatever that be, and you can use a bike to get places, I would recommend going ahead and doing that and saving up as much as you can in the coming time to come. Therefore, in the times to come, therefore you can make a wise or a beneficial purchase on a vehicle in the near future. And so I would recommend it. If this ever happened to my kids when I end up being a father, I think that I would recommend this for them to do as well, because it builds character, it builds strength, it builds mental character, it builds character spiritually, it builds character emotionally, it builds character physically, and it builds strength in all those sectors as well, in all the states of beings. So I would highly recommend this. Catch you guys in the next one.